Beer tubers, welcome back to another episode of Maxwell Starr's Beer Review. Tonight, we're not looking at a beer from Garrison, we're looking at a beer from one of the other breweries in Halifax. So, first thing I gotta ask you is what do you get when you add 1 and 1 together? You get 2. You get Propeller's Double IPA. Now, this particular beer I've heard much about. Shouts out to El Harlock and Jake and Dar if you guys are watching. Shouts out to you. Thanks for watching this review. One thing I've got to say is I really was inspired to try this beer. Maybe not so much because of watching the reviews, but because I love both Propeller IPA and also Double IPA. So I'm exceptionally stoked to give this particular beer a try. Propeller's Double IPA rates in at 8.2% ABV. It says this full-bodied beer is brewed with ample amounts of premium Pacific Northwest hops and then heavily dry hopped, giving this bold brew a big West Coast nose. Double IPA delivers a huge amount of piney, floral, and citrusy hop aroma and flavor from start to finish that is moderately tempered by a sweet malt backbone. This is a true hop bomb for true hop heads. And that's actually one thing I've turned into over the last year or so, is that I've become a real big hop head. One of my favorite, if you can't tell already, one of my favorite go-to beers in the fridge is Propeller's IPA. I buy it on a regular basis. It's probably my favorite IPA that we have available here in New Brunswick liquor stores, and one of the only ones here that actually has a decent hop bite. It's very piney from its use of warrior hops, though, as Jake would say. So, this one here is an interesting one to try, where they say it uses plenty of hops, and also is a double IPA style, which is a much heavier, much thicker style of beer. Now, I have said in the past that 8.2 is kind of like on the lower edge of the ABVs for an Imperial IPA or double IPA, and it's true, because I think the strongest double IPA or Imperial IPA came in at around 10%. I'm not sure if that was the Weyerbacher or not. Weyerbacher Double Simcoe, which was absolutely exquisite. But, without further ado, let's pop the top off of this particular local brew and see if she's any good. She's fizzing up a bit. Not very fast, mind you. Whatever. Let's pour it out here. Boy, she's a dark one, isn't she? I probably poured it too gently to get the full effect of the head. Look at that, though. A nice gratuitous head, and I'm starting to smell some of the hops off of this one already. Really nice. Not a lot of sediment in there. Got a dark, like a brownish, orangish appearance, and it is, let's see, it's somewhat clear. I mean, it's not perfectly clear, there's a little bit of a haze to it, but for the most part, it's got this very clear, filtered looking appearance. Does it actually say it's filtered on it? Whatever. Big looking beer. And also a very appetizing looking double IPA. Got a total of 1 figure ahead on there, but as I said, I probably didn't pour it as aggressive. Doesn't matter, because otherwise it wouldn't have fit in the glass. Very nice looking beer from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Really gorgeous. Give it a sniff. Ooh, I'm getting a lot of both, wow, actually. Floral. Grapefruit citrus, hint of pine, a caramel malt, all in a very noticeable strong aroma. Oh, it's on my hand. That malt and some of the hops kind of blend together for like a rich, almost a little bit of like a meaty or barnyardy kind of hop aroma or smell. Boy, that's an interesting smell. but definitely appetizing. Wow, this is one I gotta say, Propeller's got the really, smells fantastic, looks fantastic. It's got the entire package so far. Well, down the hatch. It's not quite as biting as I was expecting, especially from a double IPA. Really, you expect it to really grab your tonsils and rip them out with how bitter that it is. While it is quite bitter, I don't think it's up quite to the level of like an 80 IBUs. It's about as bitter as their standard IPA, which is still quite bitter. The hop taste is a little floral, but mostly piney, with a little bit of a white grapefruit and a hint of a grassy note. The malt isn't so predominant, which would go with a West Coast style IPA this is trying to be. It almost tastes like the sugars are consumed in this. And not perfectly, there's still a little bit of a sweetness, but for the most part there is a lot of dryness in the very back of this. Boy, this is something nice. It almost seems like there's a bit of like a roasted malt bitterness in this as well. But it's got the complete package. It's bitter, 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 with a decent amount of malt taste and a very, very nice finish. It's not absolutely heavy. It's not as thick as some double IPAs go, but it is a very medium to heavy beer where it's a little thicker than your middle of the road beer. That's a good one to enjoy. Speaking of which, I'm going to sit down with this one and enjoy it for a bit, and I'll come back with some thoughts. Be right back. And I'm back with Propeller's Double IPA. So, what did I think about this thing? Really, really nice. Really nice, enjoyable bouquet of hops in this thing. It almost smells like a bouquet of flowers with grapefruit citrus and a little bit of pine. Really, really nice. Obviously, they use the same similar kind of hops as they would use in their single IPA, but along with a nice bit of like a white grapefruit, as well as some nice floral hops, as well as a nice, decent malty backbone. This really stands up there with some of the best double IPAs. It's not the best that I've had, but it's probably somewhere in the top 5 or the top 10. It's really, really good, and certainly a well-recommended double IPA that everybody should really try, especially from people from Nova Scotia. From what I understand, this particular beer is available in some NSLCs. What they've done is this was originally released as a one-off, and then they've decided to add it in the regular rotation as a spring seasonal. So by the time you watch this, this might be going out of rotation. But next spring, or if there's any left in your NSLC nearby, really pick this up. Especially if you love hop bombs, because this does not disappoint. It may not be as hoppy as some double IPAs I've had, but it's certainly got the it's certainly got the hops to take care of it, the hop flavors, really complex hop flavors, as well as a nice decent malt backbone to really back it up. I think I'm going to give this a high 4.0 out of 5. It's a delicious beer. Give it a try if you see it. It's not quite the best hot double IPA I've ever had. It's not quite up there on the level of like Dogfish Head's Imperial 90 minutes. But as a double IPA, I really do appreciate this, and everybody should try this if you can. and it's way better than Alexander Keith's Double India Pale Ale. So, thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's beer reviews. Hope you enjoyed watching this review, and I really enjoyed drinking this beer. So I will talk to you guys later. Cheers.